Hello, I'm Kyle. I'm the Technical Content Developer at Maple Systems. Welcome to the Maple Systems Video Training Series. In this video, I'll be showing you the setup for a J-Thermocouple using a signal generator. The signal generator will produce a J-Thermocouple signal in millivolts. I will also be using a signal conditioner to convert millivolts to a 0 to 5 volt analog signal. In Mapper 7000, I'll be using an HMC 4000 series, specifically an HMC 4070, with an HMC3-M1210Y0201-V2 I module configured to analog input 0 to 5 volts. Here is an example of a wiring diagram for a J-Thermocouple using an analog signal conditioner. You can also find this on the How to Read Temperature with a J-Thermocouple using a 0 to 5 volt analog configuration tutorial page on the Maple Systems website. If you have a T-model I/O module, you will not need the signal conditioner. Here is an example of a wiring diagram with no signal conditioner. Okay, now let's set up our I/O module. Go over to the left to I/O allocation. Click on expansion, and you right click, and in slot 1, I already have an I/O configured here, and I'm using an HMC3-M1210Y0201-V2. And so let's go edit, and when you select your model, you'll check off download configuration settings, hit configure. Now in this case, I'm using a signal generator to generate the J-Thermocouple reading, and I'm also using a 0 to 5 volt converter. In this instance, I went to analog, input channel 0, and type is voltage 0 to 5 volts. Click that, confirm, hit close, and then OK. So the first I/O module we configured is if you're using a analog signal conditioner. Now you can also configure this using a T module. So go to slot 2, edit, and instead of using the I/O we just configured, you would instead configure this in slot 1, of course, but I'm just showing you in slot 2. So model would be an HMC3-M0808P0401T, or you can use the Y model. So you click the model, check off download configuration settings, hit configure, and under analog, select which input channel you're using. Then for type, scroll down and choose either thermocouple J-type or K-type. Then hit confirm. You can see it here. Hit close, then hit OK. Now you'll want to add some tags, so go to the tags folder. And I've already created the tags, but I'll show you which ones I created. So go to the show hide filter, hide system tags, and I only created 2 tags here, 2 real tags. So this one I've named temperature real. So this is for the scaling and the logic I'm going to show you a little later on. So this first one is temp real, and register type is a real. And then this one is the scaled value tag for the temperature reading. So this is temp scaled, and register type is a real. And these are the only tags you'll need for your logic. So next we'll create that logic. Go to the logic blocks, main, and then you would right click and do new logic block, and I've named it scale temp. And here I have 2 functions, and I'll show you how you would add these to your logic. Rung 1, I just did insert new rung, and the first piece of logic I have here is a any to real, and you find that under the conversions folder. So any to real, convert to real, drag that over. And for the input, I'm using the actual analog input register. So slot 1, channel 0, analog input register is the input. For the output is the real tag we created, so temperature real. And then I have a scale in function, and you find that under the maths folder. So scale in, scaling linear conversion. You will need to do this to get the actual temperature reading. So the first part, the input, is the temperature real tag that we converted here. And for minimum, 0. And for max is 65,000. Now you can find this in the HMC3-M1210Y IO module guide. It'll tell you what the maximum is for each of the IO modules. In this case, the one I'm using is 65,000. And here, the output minimum is 0, and the output max is 300. The maximum temperature for the converter that I'm using is 300 degrees Celsius, so I have 300 here. And then for the output is the scaled value. So output is temperature scaled. This is all the logic you'll need here. The last thing you'll do is create the base screen for the user interface on the actual HMC device. So go to base screen, you right click, new base screen, and I've named it temp scaled. And here I'm just describing what's going on here. So J-Thermocouple, I'm using a signal generator and 0 to 5 volt signal conditioner or signal converter, and I'm displaying the scale temperature here. Now this is quite simple. Here is just some multilingual text that I've added in here, and then I just have a data display here, and you find this under show data, numeric display, and place it here. And over to the right, for the properties, I'm using a data type float. And the tag I'm using is that temperature scaled tag for the scaled value, because I want to show the actual temperature in Celsius here. And then format, I have 7 digits and digits after decimal point 0. So I just want to show the whole number of that temperature reading between 0 and 300 degrees Celsius. Once you've created the tags, the logic, as well as the base screen, you're ready to download and go online. So go to mode, go online with download. And if you're downloading for the first time, make sure you have firmware checked off. In this case, I've already downloaded once, so I just need to have application checked off. Hit download. Download completed, and it may take a few seconds for the HMC device to load the application. Once it does, it will say run in the compile window, and you know it's working properly, and you are seeing values in your logic. Okay, now we are online and looking at VNC Viewer. So this is the actual user interface on the HMC device. Let's go to the temperature scaled screen. And here we're looking at the scaled real temperature. And you can also see a live camera feed of the multifunctional signal generator, which is generating the J-Thermocouple signal. Now I'm going to go up on the temperature on the signal generator, and you'll see it here on the HMC device. I'm going to go up to about 25 degrees Celsius. And as you can see, it's reflected on the HMC device as well as on the signal generator. Now I'll go up to 100 degrees. And you can see that it's at 100 degrees. Now it may be less than a degree off because you have to consider an accuracy error from the signal generator. Now I'll go back down to 0 degrees. And we're back down to 0 degrees. Now this is how you would set up the display for a J-Thermocouple using a signal generator. We're using 0 to 5 volts through a signal conditioner and displaying the scaled temperature on the HMC device. This concludes the video. To get more information, please visit the How to Read Temperature with a J-Thermocouple using a 0 to 5 volt analog configuration tutorial page on the Maple Systems website. Thank you for watching.